Good morning, welcome to the woods. Lovely morning, a bit cold but nice and bright. It might rain, so I've put the basher up just in case. About 12 months ago I got hold of this Tatonka load carrying frame from Lastenkraxe, and I did a quick review, sort of a hello to it. I've been using it now for 12 months, so I thought I'd give a follow-up review, if you like, what it's actually like to live with. I've used it as a bare frame like this for carrying equipment in and out of the woods when we go and do work in the woods. Just strap it on. I also did a hike with it, so we did Jason and I did an overnighter looking for the source of the River Severn, and I used this frame with literally just stuff bolted onto it. So I had a dry bag for my sleeping bag and my clothes, and then everything else just strapped onto it. Wasn't too heavy, but it worked really well. I've carried almost its maximum weight on it. So I took it up to I think it was about 45 kilos, around about 96 pounds, something like that. So it's got a suggested maximum of about 100 pounds. So I have used it extensively. I've carried it over a distance. I think in the Moor Mountains I used it, and I think the furthest I did on that was about 13 miles in the day. And I had a slightly different setup there. I had that bag that's attached to the tree strapped onto it, so it was more like a rucksack. Well, that's an old Gellert bag that I had knocking around. It's a bit damaged now, so I took the carrying system off that. So generally I'm really pleased with it. I like the fact that it's a rigid frame and it is versatile, so I can use it as a frame. I can strap stuff onto it, or I can use it like a rucksack. So I don't particularly coddle my kit. You know, if it falls, it falls. If it falls off something, it falls off something. I'm not going to overly worry about it. But this has taken some bashes. All of these plastic D-rings are still intact. You all right, mate? All of the plastic D-rings are still intact. None of the strapping has frayed or snapped or come loose or anything like that, so that's all good. The harness still in good nick, again, no breaks, no frays. Yeah, so it's extremely robust. The V2 carrying system, probably one of the most comfortable harnesses I've ever worn. It fits like a glove. Probably better to say it fits like a harness. It's very snug, it doesn't rub, so even carrying it all day through the Moor Mountains recently with weight, it just didn't give me any problems. There was no chafing or anything like that. When I carried the maximum weight, it distributes the weight really evenly across your shoulders and hips, so very comfortable to wear. Loads of tie-outs. I mean, these D-rings all the way around, they've lasted. They've took some knocks and some bangs, and nothing's broken on it yet. Nothing's snapped. I've had no problems with any of the with any of the harnessing or any of the metal work. There's a few scratches and scuffs where I've caught it with different bits of kit. So I carried a generator out of the woods and into the woods with it. So there's a few scratches and scuffs from that. But apart from that, it's extremely durable. Like I say, I've thrown it all over the place. I'm not particularly precious about my kit. Yes, I look after it, but if I'm going to bash it around during its use, it's going to get bashed around during its use. I accept that. There are a few cons, a few things that aren't so good with it. It is heavy by comparison. With a flat pack or with a traditional rucksack, storing it's not a massive problem. You can fold it all up, put it in a cupboard somewhere, or hang it up. It's a rigid frame. It's always going to be this size. You're never going to get you're never going to pack it down into a little cupboard or anything like that. So there is its bulk, its weight. It's heavier than a traditional rucksack. Again, I'm not too fussed about the weight. It's a couple of kilos. I could just lose a bit of weight and make up for it, so I'm not overly worried about the weight. But if weight's your thing, this is going to be probably a little bit too heavy and a little bit too bulky. It holds the gear away from you, so your gear's not close up against your back, so it's not very streamlined. Coming through the woods just to find this little spot, I got caught on pretty much every branch walking through, and I think you're just going to have to realise that it's not a stealthy piece of kit. It's not something you're going to sneak around the woods in or anything like that. But if you're looking for the long distance hike or the long distance haul, I absolutely thoroughly recommend it. The other thing, when I was up on the Moor Mountains, again, because it carries the weight away from your back, even with the sort of the straps to pull it in, it does act like a massive sail. It did on the Mourne Mountains. It was very, very windy up there, and a couple of times as I was walking down the path, my plan originally had been to go onto the peak the day that I was up there with this, but just down in the sort of in the valley part, the wind was catching me and knocking me off the path, and I just thought, I'd spoke to people, I just thought, you know what, if that happens and it's a bit more precarious, I'm gone, and it does catch the wind. So yeah, long-term review, actually I suppose the conclusion is I'm really, really happy with my purchase. I'm glad I bought it. It has a particular place, and it is for that heavy camp, it is for that long haul. It's not for the stealth. I think I'd probably still use the British Army Bergen if I wanted to do a bit of a stealth camp, just sort of like get in and out. But any sort of long distance hikes, this is the go-to piece of kit. If you can get one, and it took me ages to find it and then get it. I had to order it from Germany, I think it came from in the end. Can't remember the price. If I'll look it up and I'll put the price in the video. If you can get one and you think that this would be useful to you, sort of to replace those other rucksacks, you're not going to find a more versatile piece of kit than this one.